Hello and welcome to the Movie Scouts 007 Keyboard Road Warrior series, where we play Euro Truck Simulator 2 with nothing but our low-end laptop and its keyboard. So, let's embark on our next journey. Just double check. Yes, right, so we have £75,000. We have some damage. Ooh, parking brakes engaged. Let's check the map briefly. So we need to take a left and a right and then go fix and rest as per. I think. Right. So this was the scene of possibly one of my most humiliating parkings. Oh, I need to get the windscreen wipers on. Let's get the steering all the way to the left. Let's go. Oh! Okay. That wasn't fun. So, yeah, sometimes the road appears clear and then it's not. Obviously that would be much easier if we had access to an easier way of moving the view around, which would be, for instance, track IR. We don't have access to track IR. In fact, we don't have access to anything but this laptop. Right, so let's repair our 6% of damage. Oh boy, £5 grand. Well, that's friendly. £5,000. Okay, so we're done with that. Excuse me a second. Get a slurp of coffee. Alright, let's go rest. Okay. We'll park over here. Engine off. And get some rest. And it's raining again, lovely. Alright. Right, let's get ourselves a load. Now obviously at the moment our priority is visiting cities that we haven't visited yet and earning enough money to fill the three garages that aren't quite full yet. So Kasich. We've been to Kasich, we've definitely been to Karlstadt, we've been to Geneva. I haven't been to Oslo yet. Have we been to Oslo? No, we don't. We haven't been to Oslo. Right, let's get ourselves to Oslo. So we're going to set that as our GPS destination. And I want to get my screenshot, obviously, so let's do that. And let's centralize it so that we can get a nice clear image. Okay. Let's go pick up our load. Oh. Damn it. I'm struggling today. So this is where our load is. Sorry, I've just realised that I've been really quiet, which is unlike me. So let's take the job. Taking wall panels, prefab wall panels. So let's spin this bad boy around. And let's get this load hooked to the back of our tractor. I'm not far enough over. That's better. Right then, let's head to Oslo. Oh, I've just realised it's the capital of flipping but it is on the Scandinavia map, and as such, damn it, the brain is clearly not functioning. We're turning left here. We've got a nice long load, so the weight should be nice and spread. It should be a bit more stable than a number of the loads that we've been driving lately. Let's pop the handbrake on and now wait up for the green light. So I decided to apply for a New Zealand driving licence today, only because it is possibly the easiest form of identification to carry. I don't want to carry my passport with me, because I wouldn't be able to leave the country if I lost it. It would be a great deal of faff to get a new one. If there was a tragedy, for instance, if there was an earthquake and my passport was lost in the flat, then, you know, that's another matter. But there's no need to deliberately expose my passport to loss or damage. It's got my visa, so I really need to make sure I keep hold of it, because it's my permission to stay in the country with my wife for another 3 months. So yes, no, there's no reason to expose myself to that kind of not danger, risk, not risk either, hassle. Hassle is possibly the correct word. And it's an interesting process, because it's UK, I've got a UK driving licence, and the UK and New Zealand have quite close ties. In fact, the UK has closer ties possibly with New Zealand and Australia than many Australians or Kiwis might like to admit. And in fact, it's relatively easy, for instance, for a Kiwi to get permission to come to the UK from New Zealand, and it's the same for Australians. It's not nearly as easy on the return journey. It's not easy for UK citizens to get permission to reside in Australia or New Zealand. It is easier than America, but or a number of other countries. But then as a UK citizen, I'm also an EU citizen, which means that I can freely live and work in mainland Europe. So as a UK citizen, I'm pretty well off when it comes to places to go and get work. In fact, there was a fantastic study recently which was talking about the number of Brits living and working in mainland Europe, Now, if you're familiar with UK, there is a constant hoo-ha about immigrants working in the UK. It's a moronic, childish, pointless argument, which I fell prey to until I was exposed to a few more facts. There are as many UK citizens living and working in mainland Europe as there are Polish citizens living and working in mainland Europe outside Poland. There's a lot of complaints about Eastern Europeans coming to the UK and working in the UK, and to quote the phrase du jour for people who don't have access to the facts and are quite prepared to just argue without ever investigating, stealing our jobs. Now, a couple of things I think need pointing out. No one is stealing any jobs. It's so much more difficult to employ someone from outside the UK where there's a language barrier than it is to employ someone from within the UK who are fluent in English. That's not the problem. The problem is that employers can't get British employees to do a certain kind of job. They're usually menial, they usually involve cleaning, they usually they can be unpleasant, they're almost certainly not well paid. These are jobs that UK citizens do not want to do for whatever reason, be it that they're too lazy to do it, or they're too squeamish to do it, or they don't want to do it. There are a many number of reasons why UK citizens won't take these jobs up, and why it's easier to employ someone from without the UK than it is from within. And that's because people from without the UK are prepared and are applying for those jobs. There is a rule that you should be fluent in English before you can come to this country, and that's one of the things that I think is hurting immigrants that don't bother, is that they are also hurting all the other immigrants that come over that do bother to learn to speak English. It's a simple thing. It's the only thing that I ask of an immigrant, is that when they come over to this country, I say this country, I'm in New Zealand, when they come over to the UK, is they make a concerted effort to learn English and to become fluent in it. It's helpful for them in a multitude of ways. If I were to go and live in Spain, I would almost certainly be required to be fluent in Spanish, and I doubt I would have much luck getting any kind of job other than teaching English without learning Spanish. And frankly I would want to learn Spanish. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to? If you're going to live in a country, you should be able to converse with the locals, watch the television. You know, I'm a football fan, I'd want to go to local football matches. I wouldn't want to be confused about what was going on, you know, until because at a football match you don't get 100% of the information. If you've never been to a football match, you've only watched it on television, it's a very different thing. There's nothing beats the atmosphere of being at a live football match. However, you almost certainly won't know what half the decisions made by the referee were for until you get home and watch the highlights or read the newspapers or internet descriptions of the games, because you are staring at one portion of the field, and you can probably only get a really good view of about 1/6 of the pitch, which is the bit directly in front of you. So yes, I would make a concerted effort to become as fluent in Spanish as I could if I, say, for instance, moved to Spain, or Polish if I moved to Poland, or one of the 3 languages that are spoken in Switzerland, or one of the 2 languages that are spoken in Belgium, if that's where I went. It's arrogant and rude and selfish and stupid to not do so. I think the best way of learning a language is to try and speak it all the time, and I think when in public, people should speak in English if they're not tourists. It's difficult. When you're on a week or 2 weeks holiday in a place, it's impossible to develop a fluency in time for that holiday. And I totally get that. I've been a tourist, and I have been to foreign countries where I don't speak the language. That said, I have tried to learn a few words like thank you and excuse me and please and 2 beers, please. You know, I've tried to learn a few pertinent words and phrases. But I'm living in New Zealand, so I don't have that issue, because English is the primary language. It's the language spoken by people 90% of the time. The other language is Maori, spoken by a significant portion of the Maori population. It has to be said, not all Maori people speak Maori. Some people just can't be bothered, because most of the television is in English, the news is in English, but there is a channel, there's a Maori channel devoted to Maori that's almost exclusively Maori, apart from the occasional film and the occasional sporting event that's broadcast in English. It is predominantly, I would say, almost all Maori. So if you really wanted to speak Maori, the best way would be to watch this Maori TV channel. And I know a couple of Maori words. I know kia ora, which is hello, and I know pakai, which is well done. Pakai, I think. There are a couple of others which I tried to learn, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's very interesting. The Maori culture is quite fascinating, but it is a little bit spiritual. And as a racist, racist? Oh my God! Atheist. As an atheist. Oh my God. Oh my God. As an atheist. God, I've gone pink. I really hope I'm not a racist. That would be horrifying to me. As an atheist, I feel deeply uncomfortable with a lot of the Maori. Maybe I think I'm a racist because I'm uncomfortable with Maori culture. Maybe that's where that Freudian slip comes from. Gosh. But we went to a place called Waitangi in the North Island, in the Northland part of the North Island. If you look at a map of New Zealand and then you look at the North Island, you'll see a strip of land coming out the top of the North Island. It's large, it's slightly west, it's sort of pointing slightly northwest. If you look at the islands. That area is called Northland, and there's an area called Bay of Islands, which is where the English first landed. Captain Cook anchored in the Bay of Islands, and one of the towns is called Waitangi, and it's where the treaty between the Maori and the English was signed, or first signed. The original document is in a museum in Wellington, but there's a museum in Waitangi near the treaty grounds where they've restored the house that the very first citizen lived, the very first British citizen of New Zealand, and he brokered a treaty with a reverend and a naval officer and a number of prominent Europeans. He got the tribes to pick a flag, and the first flag actually isn't the flag that we know of as the New Zealand flag. The current New Zealand flag is a blue background with a Union flag in the top left corner and then 4 red stars in a cross-like grouping which represent the Southern Cross, which is a star formation that you can see from Australia and New Zealand. The Australian flag is similar, but it has 2 extra stars, and the stars are white. But the original flag, which was known as the Flags of the Tribes of New Zealand, Flag of the Tribes, was a white background with St George's red cross, and in the top left-hand corner was a blue quarter with 4, I believe, stars in it. Might not be stars, it might be fleur-de-lis actually. And that was fascinating. And the tour guides there are all Maori, and they have the original house, but they built a meeting house, and I forget the exact. There's a word for a Maori meeting house. They're very, very distinctive Maori meeting houses. They're a white building with elaborate carved wooden eaves, and there'll be kind of a carved person will sit on the roof, and they refer to these buildings as people. The roof is its spine and its ribs. Its arms are the front of the eaves, and the hands are little bits of the eave that go past the building itself. It's a fascinating insight into a people that sailed quite a distance to get to New Zealand nearly 1,000 years ago, and beat the Europeans by probably 800 years. And they were the first mammals on New Zealand. New Zealand has no indigenous mammals. All the mammals in New Zealand now are imported from mostly Europe. This is possibly one of the reasons why indigenous Kiwi species are in real trouble, because a lot of them have evolved to deal with surviving the environment rather than surviving any natural predators, because a lot of them didn't have any natural predators and they're not used to dealing with them. But then when Europeans brought cats and dogs and ferrets and rabbits and stoats and all sorts of vermin, chickens, goats, cattle, when they brought all these animals, they totally destabilised the indigenous flora and fauna and animal life, and as a result they've had quite a horrifying impact on New Zealand. That's why, in fact, they did the same to Australia. Although Australia did have mammals, they've had some quite brutal mammals, but that's why Australia and New Zealand are quite as rigid when it comes to their borders as they are, because the flora and fauna have suffered enough without having more harm done on them. Now, Australia and New Zealand have in the last 20 years been subject to an enormous influx of Asian immigrants. Now, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but apart from the fact that those Asian immigrants insist on bringing stuff with them that they cannot bring, and they do it on such a regular basis that the border patrols have to almost perform a kind of a racial profiling in order to prevent people. Now, a lot of people know this stuff that they're bringing in shouldn't be brought in, and they still bring it in, and occasionally they'll get away with doing it, but some insist they don't know that they're not allowed to bring it in, even though when they board the aeroplane they're handed an immigration card which they're required to sign, which talks about what they can and can't bring into the country, and then gives them a little box to tick to say, no, I didn't bring any of that stuff in. So when they come in and they've ticked that little box and they've brought that stuff in, they end up getting colossal fines and confiscation, and stuff has to be destroyed because it's a danger to the domestic flora and fauna. I started talking about driving licenses and I've been talking about flora and fauna and immigration. I don't know how that happens. It's just one of the joys of taking a journey with me around the roads of Europe. There we go. Where are we now? Are we in the Netherlands? I believe. No, we're still in the Netherlands. We started in the Netherlands. We were in Amsterdam. We're not going to, as I made clear in my last video, I had a plan for where I was going to put garages, and we're not going to put a garage in any of the Scandinavian capitals. We are going to put a garage in Gothenburg and Bonn. Oh, do you know what? I've still failed to check out what the pronunciation of that place is that Scania have. It's near Stockholm. But yes, those are the only two places in the Scandinavia map that I'm going to, they're the only two places in the whole of the ProMods map where I'm going to put a garage. It's not that I doubt the stability of the ProMods map, it's just that if for any reason SCS do something which compromises my ability to use the ProMods map, I don't want to lose my game progress as a result. So the last two garages that I will buy will be in Gothenburg and I think it's Södertälje, but I cannot be 100% certain, but it is just south of Stockholm on the ProMods Scandinavia map. Right. So that was a nice corner. I was able to take it at a relatively good liquor pace, and I didn't hit anything. I didn't have to perform any emergency manoeuvres in order to avoid hitting something, which is always good. Let's see where we are, as I'm just curious as to where we are. Okay. So we've got 15 hours left to journey. Probably about 4 or 5 of those will be swallowed up by that little ferry journey. I've got 4 hours before I've got to sleep. So when we get to 3 hours, I'll start hunting for a rest spot. And that'll take us to 11 hours. Obviously we'll get some rest on the ferry, which is always good. And it's quite amusing. I was watching one of the streamers on Twitch that I follow, a guy called Tracy, whose Twitch handle is JCDDMDad, and he was talking about stability. And he was saying that the reason the big rigs have got big noses out the front is because they believe it makes them more stable. I don't know if that's necessarily true. But he's an American, he's an American and a US citizen, and as a US citizen he's much more inclined to want to drive a big nose, big rig. But that's his choice, and he's entitled to it, and not wanting to drive the big rigs. Oh crap. That's good. I enjoy listening to him talk because he's very interesting to talk to. He's very happy and enthusiastic at the moment for 2 reasons. One, he had been driving using an Xbox controller and is now driving using a Logitech G27 gaming wheel, and he finds it a revelation for his driving, and I completely understand that, because I've driven Gran Turismo 5 with and without a steering wheel, and it's so much easier to do with the steering wheel. I've driven Formula 1 2010 with and without a steering wheel, and I again find it so much more easy to drive with a steering wheel. The other reason he's happy is that he has lived for a significant chunk of his life in Washington, sorry, not Seattle. He's lived in Washington State, and so his local American football team is the Seattle Seahawks, and they won the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago. And as you might understand, he is tremendously excited about that. So it's actually quite fun watching him chatter away while driving his American big rigs, and it's interesting seeing him drive these big rigs. Oh crap, please tell me I didn't do any damage to that. Good. It's interesting seeing him drive his big American big rig on European roads. Now you can see how much of a problem I have with a cab over. What in Europe we would call a standard truck, what they would call a cab over in America. They call it a cab over because the cab is over the engine. Oh, my money's gone up to 139. Ooh. How the heck did that happen? I'm going to save my wad until I'm at a city where I'm likely to buy a garage. So capitals at the moment. So the capitals that I want to get: London, Paris, Budapest, what else have we got? Belgium, so that would be Brussels, Bern, which is the capital of Switzerland. I'd love to get the capital of Rome, but capital of Italy, which is Rome, but that's not in the game at the moment. And in fact, I wouldn't get it unless SCS put it in. I'm having second thoughts. Maybe I should just put Stockholm and Oslo and Helsinki as garages in the game. Maybe I should just do it. Okay. Oops, sorry. Maybe I should. So, yet again, I think I'm going to have to get myself out of this night driving funk that I'm in with you guys. And I'm not getting out of it. I seem to always end up driving at night, which isn't very interesting for you to watch because you can't see as much of the landscape and you can't see as much of the map. So anyway, to go back to what I started talking about when I started this video, which was getting a New Zealand driving license. I wanted as a form of identification because I'd kind of like to be able to carry something and remind in my wallet that has proof of address and proof of signature and a photograph of me, so it's proof of ID. As a UK citizen, this is where I was going. I'm a UK citizen, which means it's much easier for me to get this license. I don't have to take a test, other than an eye test. I have to take an eye test to prove that my eyesight is good enough for the drive, for driving, for seeing distances, for seeing road signs, for seeing warnings, and so on and so forth. So I have to pass a sight test. I don't have to surrender my UK license. That I don't have to do. Yes, but other than that, they just need proof of my driving license. They need proof of my identity, so they need the driving license, they need my passport, they need to see my passport, and they need to see proof of my address, and they need to see recent proof of my address. So that's going to be awkward, because I don't think we've got anything younger than 3 months. Well, then maybe that'll be enough for them. my UK driving licence is a curious colour pink. The New Zealand one is light green, so I'll have two very different driving licences. Could be interesting. I won't be getting a New Zealand passport. There's no need for me to do that. I am married to a Kiwi, and as such I am allowed to spend time with her. I could apply for permanent residence if I wanted to, and it would probably, all it would cost me would be a little bit of money, probably £500 to £800. It cost me £300 to get my visa for the year, but that, you know, that was just a matter of waiting. As a UK, you know, with a wife who's a Kiwi and with a definite leave, proof of having to leave. That was another thing. I had to prove that I was going to be leaving the country. Hey? What crashed vehicle? I haven't crashed into a vehicle. I have not crashed into a vehicle. What bloody vehicle? Alright. I am going to need to look at that. Crashed vehicle. I didn't see another vehicle. I'm sure if anyone's watching, they want to give me the exact moment that I crashed. That would be wonderful, but I do not remember crashing. Oh. So I lost my, I hit F3 and I lost my little GPS. So, and that's not where I want to be. I want to be there, looking at the map. Right. So, I am going to have to think about getting a rest in a bit, because I've got about 2 hours, just over 2 hours before I have to rest. Now, if I quickly check the map, see how close I am to... Ooh, do you know what? I reckon I can get to Herschel's. Let's get on with it. I reckon I can get to Herschel's without having to stop. And if that's the case, I will get some rest at Herschel's when I catch the ferry to Norway. Because we're driving through the heart of Denmark right now. So that's that. What? Okay, that's starting to get annoying. Maybe it's because I'm whizzing in and out of lanes. Maybe it's, and they're catching the tail end of my trailer. I've not done any damage to the tail end of the trailer. We are quite close to actually having enough money for another garage. I don't know whether I should or shouldn't. Yeah, I think what's happening is that I am weaving a little bit out of my lane just as someone's about to get up to the rear of me, and as a result they're just tagging the tip of the trailer, and that's where I'm getting my crash damage from. I am at the stage of the game where I'm not as worried about that as I was when I first started playing this. If you remember when I first started, when I first bought my first truck, in fact before that, I was worried about crash damage because every penny was precious, because I was on low paid jobs, whereas I'm on much better paid jobs now, and I've got a garage full of drivers who are earning me money, and so I'm not missing the money lost as much as I was. Now we're 23. Where am I now? I might put up with a sleep fine. I might put up with a sleep fine in order to get on the ferry. Okay, it's interesting. My game is starting to stutter a little bit, which is not friendly. So yes, I want a form of ID that I can carry around with me in the last few months that I'm in New Zealand, and I don't want to have to carry my passport, because I'm coming up to the point where I'm going to need it. I'm going to need it to return home. I'm going home to London in 3.5 months, and I'll need the passport to get back into life. I'll need the passport to get into China, because my flight takes me into China, and I get a connecting flight to let's stick in this lane. It's 100k speed limit, so I don't have to slow down. Oh, now we do. It's 70. I'm doing 58. Now it's 50. And that's good. We weaved our way. Yeah, I know I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. Actually, I'm getting tired as well, actually. Yeah, and I can tell I'm in the ProMods part of the map, because they do little things like parked vehicles on the side of the road, which is very interesting. Yeah, so I want to be able to carry a bit of proof of ID around with me, and proof of address actually. When we pick up post, any post we get that needs to be signed for, I have to go and pick up from the post office in the centre of Christchurch, and I need proof of ID and proof of address, which means I have to carry my UK driving licence, and I need to carry the document. The one we've chosen is the document that proves that we have a bond. It's the deposit for. In New Zealand, they call the deposit a bond. Yeah, I know I'm getting tired. And so that's that. So we're approaching our. Yeah, we're getting critical actually. 19 minutes, and I'm just going to. I've 19 minutes plus a little bit of extra time. They give you a little bit of extra time the other side of that to avoid the fine. But if I get a fine, I get a fine. I'm not that worried about it. It's $80. That's not a great deal of money, and I'd rather just hustle to the boat and see how much time I can save on the boat by sleeping on the boat. Yeah, I know. I'm getting tired, I know. This is Aalborg. Alright, I'm going to go straight across, because this is one of those stupidities. It happens every time. I don't have to leave the motorway, but the GPS insists that I do. ProMods know about it, and they claim they can't do anything about it. I'm not 100% certain that's true. I'm pretty sure there's something they could do. I just think they don't think it's a priority, and as I know that the map at Aalborg does that, I ignore the GPS and go straight over, and so it's not that big a deal. So it doesn't bother me. I don't think they need to lie. I just think they need, if they were honest and said they didn't know what it was and they didn't know how to fix it, then that would be fine by me. But that's their choice. But either way, like I said, I'm not bothered because this is a bloody brilliant map. And it's a bloody brilliant game. And so that doesn't bother me. I nearly went up the wrong way there. I nearly took that overpass. Yeah, I know, I'm getting tired. I guess 3 minutes. So any minute now I'm going to be running the risk of getting that £80 fine. It does rack up, it has to be said. If I think it racks up every 15 minutes of in-game time. Not 15 minutes real time, 15 minutes of in-game time. So if you are not careful, you can and if you've miscalculated, you can rack up hundreds of dollars, hundreds of pounds worth of fines. It's £80, not $80. £80. You can have dollars in this game. There is a mod somewhere that gives you the US dollars as a currency to play the game in. The three primary currencies are the euro, the pound. Oh God, no, it's not the three primary. There are 5 primary currencies: euro, the pound, and then 3 domestic currencies. And then Poland, Czech Republic. I can't remember the third one. But it's easy enough. It's easy enough to see, to find out. £120. Okay, that's a lot more than I thought it was. Oh, it's £80 then. £80 must be the wrong way. Yeah, I know we're getting tired. Are we approaching the docks? Yes, we're approaching the docks. So at most it's going to cost me 240 quid. And I think I need to get in to that lane, because I think I've got to turn here. Yeah, I've got to turn here. This is where I get my ferry. Now, where do I catch the ferry? I think it's this way. Yeah, I think it's this way. And up the ramp, and then when I reach the top of the ramp I've got to remember to slow down, because the number of times I've gone up this ramp, over it, and suffered damage. That's quite a hump. We're all good. We're going to sleep in a second. And there we go. All good. Right. We're going to Oslo, so we're not going to Gothenburg, that's silly. We're going to Oslo. Voila. Let's embark. Okay. Right, so let's get this cargo delivered to Oslo. Right, careful over there. Oh, that's not friendly. That it hung on to the load there briefly. That was not good. So we're very close to our destination. We are in fact almost on top of it. So it should only take a couple of minutes to actually get this load to its destination. And in fact we're about to discover Oslo for the first time. So, and there we are. We just discovered Oslo. Oh, no, no, no. That was really silly. I shot through and I shouldn't have done so. I got excited about delivering the load. Of course now, we've got a big queue of traffic. A little queue, a minuscule queue, in fact not really a queue at all. And we're good. Although we did cause that guy to stop, but I think he knew our intent and pulled up anyway. So, wow. This is... oh, damn it. That's a horrible ramp. Right. You can see we're mostly rested, so it cost us £120 to not rest, but it meant that we got where we were going. I can put up with £120. I'm giving up more than that in speeding fines. And in fact, I'm giving more than that up in... Okay, that's curious. That doesn't make sense, giving us a green and letting that lorry go straight away, unless that lorry went through a red, which the AI wouldn't do. And there you go. So we're almost on top of our destination. We're almost there. And of course now we're going to hit every red light on the way. Well, that's fine. Parking brake on. See our little red light in the dashboard to tell us that's so. And off we go. So I had a quick bit of research, but I think I've almost certainly half forgotten. But I think the town that Scania is based in is Soditalia. I will double check that pronunciation, try and write it down in front of me so that I don't forget. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ugh. I nearly went the wrong way. And I got very lucky there was nothing coming that direction. And we are almost at the point where we deliver our load. So we now have enough money to buy the garage in Oslo if we really want to. So I will give it some thought, because I wasn't going to buy the garages in Scandinavia, but I'm thinking I might. I was thinking I might. So we're almost on top. In fact, that is our destination right there on the left. So let's get in and let's get delivered and let's get our money, which should be about 20,000, and hopefully we won't crash between now and delivering our load. We won't do any damage to the trailer. Let's go. That guy can stop. Right, there's our delivery point. We're not going to skip. And now comes the most difficult task for me, as anyone who's watched the last 49 videos will be able to attest. Yes, I just realised this is my 50th video. 50 videos. That's amazing. Okay, this is not going in straight, that's fine. Alright, let's keep this straight. Can we get this in? Can we get this in? Can we get it done? No, we can't. No, because we got impatient and we put our foot down. No, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. My usual refrain. Oh, no. Okay, come on. Come on. Come on, come on. In we go, in we go, in we... Yay, there we are. We're in. Right, so... Lights off. Parking brake on. Engine off. Unhook the trailer. Our first excellent in something like 10 flipping journeys. So, wall panels from Amsterdam to Oslo, 970 kilometres, 21 hours and 3 minutes, 382.6 litres of fuel used. We've got a base reward of £14,495 and 970 XP. We've got a level 22 proficiency bonus of £4,783. A long-distance delivery bonus of skill rank 3 of £1,382 and 242 XP, and a parking bonus of 45 XP, giving us a total of £20,660 and 1,257 XP. Yes! We're still level 22. We're a long way. I think we're probably a journey or two away from 23. But we're on our way. We have a profile lifetime experience of 54,588 XP, and level 23 is still our target, and it's still 57,300. It's nice to have an excellent in the bag at last. So next next video, we will have decided whether we are going to bother with with buying the Oslo garage. And we will be looking at a new journey and looking at maintaining our excellent streak of 1, making it 2. But if you've watched this video, if you watched any of this video, particularly if you've watched it from beginning to end, thank you very much. And until the next video, I'll see you on the road.